All right, welcome to the Beantalking podcast. I'm Tim Beanland, and this is the first episode. We kick things off with Jordan Crawley. He's a triple business owner and been a purebred entrepreneur since 8 years old. He also finds time to be a fully paid actor. So we touched on topics such as, is entrepreneurship the right thing for you? How to get into giant retailers like Bunnings and Kmart, and then how Jordan got his fully paid acting gigs, being in Dare Iced Coffee commercials and now a really cool project as Ned Kelly. I'm really excited for you guys to listen to this, so let's go. Cheers for meeting up, being the first on the Beanstalking podcast,
and for it, man. Thanks for having me.
And for very good reasons. So, triple business owner, serial entrepreneur, sales expert, and strategist. That's my sum up. But for people that don't know you, give us a bit of an introduction.
Yeah, look, like everybody else, I have done a lot of labouring jobs. A lot of bum boy work. Yeah, exactly. A lot of the bum boy work when I was a lot younger. I always had an entrepreneurial spirit, shall we say, since I was young. And so I just kind of did that to sort of come up, get a bit of money under my belt before I took on other things. I've started a horse supplements company from scratch, literally photocopy of the label of a bucket and turned that into a business. Wow. Yeah, found distribution and sold that company, and then have since, I've done a couple of things, lived in China, import-export New Zealand products up to China, and then I've since moved over to my polymer company now, which we've got things from dust suppression, acrylic polymers, waterproofing agents and the like. So yeah, I've done a couple of different diverse things in my lifetime, but it's been a good run.
Business in China too, I assume that would be different to how you deal with Australian business, but also similarities at the same time?
Yeah, pretty extremely different actually. You know, everything in China is price driven, and they operate at the other end of the scale. What I mean by that is that you know, we try to build brands over this side of the world. We try to build unique differences in our products. We try to brand it, make it look good, make it perform, whereas in China it's just about buy price basically, and smashing that down as low as you can. In a country with so many billions of people, you can see why they try to grind the price down so low, because everything's mass produced, and they do business the same way. They don't tend to sort of understand quality and rarity, because in China there's a trillion of everything, so it doesn't come into the equation. Everything's 50 cents, so it's very, very, very different.
So taking back to, I guess, what I'm interested in, because you ran 3 businesses and you talked about doing grunt work at the start there. What was the first time that you noticed, and we've talked in the past about little side projects and hustles you did at younger, but what was that first thing where you're like, I want to get something and I'm going to do this to get it?
Yeah, I think I got a lot of, I got to thank my parents a lot for the way that I am. I think my father has this, there's no ceiling to life. You can just do whatever you want. Yeah. And my mother's always sort of like, cross your T's and dot your I's. Make sure you're not being delusional about your skill set or your ambitions. And so I think the balance between those two has played a big part. Yeah. I remember early on, my mum and I, we were broke when I was younger. It's not like we've always been successful and I just came out of the womb into $1 trillion. It didn't work like that. We've always been, and I remember this one particular lesson where we used to walk probably, I don't know, somewhere between 5 to 10 Ks, I'm not good with kilometres, up the road to lay-by, it was called back in the 90s, a BMX bike for myself. And so we'd walk up every sort of 2 weeks and put $10 on this thing. The thing was probably only about $110 all up. Yeah. But, we had to walk up, obviously, 11 times and 5 kilometres up the road. And I learnt this slow and steady style of purchasing. And I think that certainly rubbed off into the way I do business now. Okay. I'm not just going straight for that knockout punch and at the first meeting. I know that it's a long race. I know to cast my goals off into the future and just do the little things incrementally to get there. And I think that's that was a huge lesson that I learned very young on, you know, thanks to my mum, I suppose. And going forward into that, I slow played my hand when I was a kid. You know, I used to do things like pick oranges out the backyard.
Here we go.
Bag them up and sell them to the postman, you know, and all I knew at that time...
You sold to the postman?
Yeah, man, because I knew he's consistently coming around, right?
Oh, so, there we go.
So I got one guaranteed customer per day.
Per day.
So yeah.
Did you figure out what margins were at that stage as well?
Well, yeah, you know, I really started... Well, it was 100% margin for me.
100%.
It wasn't. It was on pulling them free off a tree. So it was the best business in the world.
So it wasn't even your tree.
No, well, it was at the back, you know. But it didn't cost much, you know, because we didn't have to. We had no supplier. It was just a free tree as far as I was concerned. And I used to do a bit of bloody emotional blackmail, you know. I'd pull my young cute sister out, and I'll pull my younger brother out, and we'll stand there, oh please, you know, it's only $5. The postman would be like, Jesus, this kid's extorting the shit out of me. But all I knew is I wanted to play Street Fighter 2, and I wanted to have a white chocolate Magnum or a paddle pop. That was like my life goals at the ripe old age of 8 years old, you know. And I knew what I wanted, and I knew it took money. And then I just came up with an idea how I could do that. What did I have around me? Oranges. And lots of them. Like, man, we had the fullest orange bowl you've ever seen. And so I thought, you know, I as a kid, I just came up with a way to capitalise off of that. You know, as I got older, 12 years old, we used to have a holiday home up north, and we used to roll around on the ground picking up golf balls and then selling them back to the clubhouse members. You know, of course, you can do this in New Zealand because you don't get eaten by snakes or something like that. You know?
And the clubhouse guy was okay with that? Like, to start off?
You know, he was at first. His name was Ted. And Ted was cool with it at first. A couple of cute kids just rolling around in the bush. What harm could they do? But, you know, once we started putting away, you know, $60 a day, $120 a day, you know, all of a sudden he started nailing down on this racket, you know. And it was funny because it was like my first introduction to like a government, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm making too much money. I'm making too much money. Stop.
Yeah, that old silent business partner.
That's it.
Give me my portion.
Except he didn't ask me for a cut. He just shut my racket down. And so, you know, we went away, my cousins and I, with, you know, our tails between our legs, had to come up with something else. But yeah, you know, like since a kid I've been doing that stuff. So awesome. I think I'm a purebred entrepreneur. I always have been. My mum used to call me that before that word was popular. So
purebred entrepreneur.
Yeah.
And what are the lessons that I think you took from that you're now applying today still, like from 12 years old and now, like supply and demand, or
I think one of the biggest things is, like I said, is to slow play it and map it out over 10 years, you know. And can you see yourself doing that thing for 10 years? And if you can't, then don't start.
Yeah, okay.
You know, I want to do a t-shirt company. Why? Yeah. Oh, because it'll make me some quick cash. Well, that's what you think. You know what I mean? Like, if that's not going to be your thing, then I would say continue to learn until you're at the position where you have the skills to do that thing. I mean, you know, like I did, you know, we've all got to fill gaps and pay bills and things like that. But that's what a 9-to-5 job is for. If you work a 9-to-5 job and you learn the skills, say you're interested in trading on the stock market, don't go and do it tomorrow, because you will go broke. Because the first way to lose your money is to be uneducated or unskilled in the field you attack. Yeah. So I would say stick to your 9-to-5, build up a float of cash, learn the skills that you need and to go into whatever thing that you want to do, and then when you go at it.
So you're not, even though you're an entrepreneur and you've been doing stuff since 12, you're not actually against going and getting a job and working for someone?
No, because
a lot of entrepreneurs are like, go into it because they just don't like being told what to do.
Yeah, but when you don't like being told what to do at 16 years old, like, you're getting a bit entitled there, because you know what I mean? Like, you haven't earned your stripes, you haven't justified yourself to anybody. You know, like, I mean, you're gonna have big problems trying to convince a customer that you're a specialist in your field when you started last week and you're 17 years old. Now, that doesn't mean that I'm against 17-year-olds being entrepreneurs. I'm just saying be reality-based about your expectations here. Yeah. I mentioned earlier that I wouldn't go into being a life coach, not through you know, my skill set or whatever. I believe, and I really believe this, I could do it now. But I'm also very aware of the fact that a 32-year-old telling a 60-year-old how to live won't go down well. It won't. It just won't. It won't matter what the hell I say. Yeah. A 60-year-old will look at me and think, who the hell are you? And I understand that, so I wouldn't do it.
Yeah, but that also gets into, I guess, target market as well.
Yep.
In a sense, you know, if you're a 35-year-old, you probably want to be teaching 15-year-olds and 18-year-olds. But
True.
then again, you know, they don't have the money.
True.
So then it's...
So that's a poor business model.
That's a poor business model, isn't it? That doesn't work. See, because a lot of people have this struggle, I'm talking about that 9 to 5, of taking that leap but they feel bad that they're in their 9 to 5. So going back to what you're saying, do you think you should use your 9 to 5 as a learning ground and as a capital raiser, and then leap?
I do. I think you can bridge that gap somewhat. I think you can get employed in the thing that you hope to do on your own later, and then you're learning on the job whilst getting paid and playing on someone else's money.
Yep.
You know,
playing on someone else's money.
That's right.
Yeah.
So, for example, if you wanted to be a digital marketer, go work for a digital marketing company, learn the ropes for 5 years.
Yeah.
Get as close to the boss as you can, and then learn those skills and implement them when you think you're ready and you have the cash flow. Doing it before then is just flat stick delusional. It really is.
I mean, you'll learn very quickly if you do it that second way. You'll learn quickly, but
you'll also go broke quickly, and you'll also learn a bunch of hard lessons that you may or may not recover from. And I mean that both financially and mentally.
And then you're looking for a job.
Yeah.
Which is when someone sees on a resume that you've been a business owner, is probably, you don't necessarily want to hire a business owner in your business because they'll start trying to run things.
True. I think
maybe.
I think there's nothing wrong with failing.
No,
I just think you can mitigate that risk if you're a bit smarter. Nothing wrong with failing.
Let's touch on that. I like there is nothing wrong with failure, is there? And that shouldn't stop someone.
Yeah.
But do you have a story around
I
a failure?
I got a couple of fresh ones. So, 2012, I did this rodeo. So this was for my horse supplements business, and I had a stall at this rodeo.
What's the supplement business name?
It's called Nordic.
Nordic?
Yeah, Nordic. It's a Danish company. Well, it's
Danish brand.
Yeah, Danish suppliers, and we bring it down to here, and we've been distributing in New Zealand and Australia since 2010. So it's been around for 8 years now. So we had a stall in this rodeo, and a friend of mine told me that he'd been there the last 10 years in a row, and he reckoned that jeans sold like hotcakes. I said, okay, that sounds good enough to me. So I went and spent 12 grand on jeans.
Just bang
straight in, spent 12 grand on jeans, and by the end of the show, we'd only sold 3 grand worth, and we had about 9 grand left over, and that is hundreds of pairs of jeans just left over. And I deserved everything I got because I tried to take a shortcut, and I tried to cash in fast, and I tried to turn over quickly with no research and taking somebody's word for it. And it bit me in the ass, and that's the lesson you learn.
Yeah.
Would I do that again? No. Not a chance. You had to do the thing to find out, to get a boot in the ass. But I think the key is to learn the lesson. Yeah. Learn the lesson and understand what you did wrong. And what I did wrong was I tried to take a shortcut, and I tried to make short-term money as fast as possible.
Right.
Booted in the ass.
So, in general, that short-term thing, going back to, you should be doing this for 10 years and love it and that kind of thing. So, for anyone that's thinking about starting whatever it is, a podcast, a business, a job even, it should be look at it in terms of a long-term.
Well, I just think you need to know yourself quite well. I can't sit here and say, look, the golden rule is 5 years of the chosen craft and blah blah blah. I don't know.
Yeah, you might be.
For me, I know I tried to take a shortcut and I got burnt.
Yeah.
So I'm no different to anybody else.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm special. I try to do what everybody does on Instagram or whatever, throw a little bit of short-term money in and try and make 15 grand. Didn't work out. And now I own 9,000 pairs of jeans. Rumour has it those jeans
still have
sit
them?
in the hell yeah, man. Hell yeah.
I was going to ask how you liquidated them, but I thought you torched them. You should have a bonfire.
We should have a bonfire, man.
Bonfire.
You'd be able to
just
see
get
it
rid of
from
them.
here.
Tell you what, you might be able to sell them these days. Can I entice you back into the jeans?
Yeah, who knows, man. We'll do a fire sale one time.
Fire sale, liquidation. Christmas is coming up.
Yeah, but those are the times you do get burnt. Is when you try to cut corners. You try to take shortcuts. it's
Yeah.
And so I learned the lesson, and I think all around our lives or all through business, you go through it, and it doesn't matter whether it's with business partners, with business itself, business scenarios, you learn lessons all the time.
Yeah.
I think the people who end up being better off are the ones who learn those lessons, they consciously understand them, and then they implement them as fast as possible.
Yeah.
And then this slowly carves your path as to how you're going to get to your end goal or your end game. You know, it's the ones that learn the lesson yet do the same thing are the ones that are never going to get there.
Banging their heads against the wall.
Because put it this way, right? If I didn't learn that lesson and I made $9,000 mistakes, I'm out of business pretty shortly.
Yeah.
You know, you can't afford to just throw around $100,000, lose it, and just keep doing it.
Just keep going.
You can't.
You can't.
You know, so it's the ones that learn the lesson and then they implement it instantly.
Implementing, that's the key. That's
speed of implementation is actually the
you can talk about your fears as much as you want.
Yeah.
Unless this is the first episode of this podcast, we could have talked for ages about doing it. But you last time we met up, we were like, let's do this.
Yeah, just do it.
Yeah,
just do it.
Just do it. I want to talk about sales. And your experience of hardcore, getting out there in the dirt and actually selling, because I think business owners or ambitious people can think that their idea alone will take them far, and then they don't have the sales skills. I'm not talking marketing because that's different. I'm talking sales.
Yeah.
So what has your experience been there? I mean, you've started at an early age, but are you now confident in your sales ability that you can walk in?
Oh yeah.
And you can so just talk to me about how important you think sales are.
Well, I think it's everything. If you don't make a sale, whether it be a product or service, you don't have a business. Yep. And so I think it's everything. For me, it comes down to competency. Mm-hmm. If I know the product inside out, well, put it this way, I will not knock on a door, make a phone call, or get in the car until I'm completely 100% competent, right?
Is it competent and sold on it as well yourself?
Yeah, well, of course, yeah. I mean, let's assume for a second that the product's actually good.
Actually good.
First off, don't get into selling or peddling a poor product, because it will bite you in the ass.
Yeah.
It will bite you in the ass.
Your reputation is on the line there too.
Everything's on the line.
Yeah.
Your financial well-being's on the line. Your mental well-being's on the line. Your businesses, your reputation, everything's on the line.
Especially in a sales environment.
Not only is it on the line, it's online.
It's online now.
You can't hide anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, it used to be back in the day.
You can't hide.
Nah.
You can't just start new businesses and just hop along undetected anymore, man. Those days are gone.
Yeah.
You used to be able to do that. You used to be able to peddle snake or get away with it. You can't do that anymore.
Yeah, like I've started 2 Facebook pages, one for this podcast and one for personally, and even I was like, I don't want to invite people to the second one because it's like you're starting too much stuff.
Yeah.
But anyway, back to sales. So it's important. It's relative to everything if your business isn't succeeding.
Yeah.
So I believe it's a learnt skill. I started telemarketing when I was 18. Mm-hmm. So thankful for that because it's taught me a lot. But do you believe that it's a learnt skill? And if so, what should someone do about it?
I think the learned skills are product related. They can be presentation related. I still think there's a heavy element of you have to be able to relate to people, from the janitor to the CEO, and you need to be able to adapt to just talk different language, and I don't mean that literally, but you just need to talk on different levels, and if you can do that, I think that makes you a really well-rounded salesman. I go back to what I said earlier, everything for me is competency based. There's been scenarios where I've been asked to present on something I don't know about, and I just flatly refuse to do it because, if you're going into these scenarios or to this boardroom or to these calls and you're the supposed expert and you can get called out or you can get questioned, hey man, it's always going to happen, don't get me wrong, and the best thing to do is just to own up and say, listen, I don't know, but let me find out for you. Do not bullshit. You only spin a web of deceit that you can't get out of. Nobody else. And so I think that, as long as you know your product or your service very, very well as you can, and you know when it's time, you can get
because sometimes you can know too much about it, and that can be a problem because then you over.
How so?
Because then you over explain. You've got.
But then that comes back to your taught sales skills. Know when to push, know when to pull. You know. So that's the balance. I don't think you can know too much. You could say too much.
You can. There we go.
Know too much.
That's the key. That's the key.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to overfeed your customer and then they go, "Well, I need to think about it."
Correct. But then that comes
objection.
to your, well, that becomes your presentation style then.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
For example, I'll give you a live example.
Please. Yeah.
One of the horse products that I have does everything from its coat to its muscle to its stamina to its recovery to. If I say that to the person that's standing opposite me, the horse trainer, they think I'm a full of shit salesman, right? So I learned that depending on the industry, the discipline that they were in, whether it was racing, whether it was polo, show jumping, dressage, I'd just choose the benefits that suited them and what they were trying to do. And then I would just name those and I would elaborate on those. Yeah. Sure, the product does 15 things. When I said it did 15 things, they just looked at me, rolled their eyes and walked off. I identified that after about 5 or 6 different sales calls.
Talking about fail?
Yep. And then just narrowed it down and honed it in to specifics. Yeah. And only relevant to that person. I think context is the key with a lot of stuff, but especially with sales.
Yeah. And not overspinning it.
Yeah.
Overspinning it. There's also a story that you've posted on your entrepreneur's Facebook page about going in the back way when it comes and being creative. Yeah. So not giving, like, another thing with sales is you need to have tenacity. You need to have thick skin. You need to know when to not give up. Yeah. And I think that will be a valuable story to share. So
sure. Yeah. So as I mentioned, the horse supplements company I was running, we sold it up in New Zealand and I moved to Australia, up Gold Coast actually, and it was the front door versus back door scenario. And like any amateur, I rolled up to the front door, thumped on the door and said, "Hey, g'day, my name's Jordan and I got all these products and they do all these wonderful things." And I just basically got told to piss off by nearly all of them. So I went back to my house with my tail between my legs and sort of thought, shit, that didn't really go the way I thought it was going to go. And you have 2 choices: you give up or you come up with something else. And so I thought, I had a little think and I thought, okay, well, who am I really trying to get to by going to these produce stores? I'm trying to get to the customer. And the way I saw it, and this is the way I deciphered it, is that this produce store had 50, 100, 200, doesn't matter, race trainers coming to them. They were the hub. So I was trying to get into the hub, but the hub didn't want me. So I came up with a plan to go and demographically circle the area of this produce store and hit all the customers that I knew shopped at this place, right? So I did that and I went around all the race courses in the area. I gave them free samples. I tried to hard sell them if I could. We're here to make money after all. Yeah. And what ended up happening, which I knew would, is that these trainers ended up going back to this produce store that I had initially knocked on the door. And bear in mind, this is 6 months down the track now, So I tried.
Still long term. You're not
to
giving
give
up.
you exactly. Yeah. So to give you an example, I might have knocked on their door in January, and by June, these race trainers are coming back to this produce store and asking them, "Do you have that compete? Do you have that compete?" And then, of course, the produce store realised that I was the guy that they told to piss off. So I had a little win on that one. They had to ring me back and say, "Hey, listen, we've had a think about it." Of course, they do all this stuff, and I humoured them on the end of the phone. "Oh, okay, you thought about it, have you?" Of course, I knew why they were coming back to me. Yeah. It's because I saturated the area and made the customers come in and demand the product of them. Yeah,
that's amazing.
And so the thing is I tried the front door, and for all intents and purposes, it was locked. Yeah. So I went round the back door. Turns out it was open. It just took me 6 months in adjustive thinking,
hard work,
hard work, and getting out there, and it ended up. Of course, I ended up being stocked in that produce store. Yeah. Had I stopped after they told me to piss off, that would have been the end of it.
But what I love about that is there's so many people. I talk to some business owners who are like, they have products and like, I want to be in Kmart, I want to be in Cotton On, I want to be, but how do I do it? And that's the key thing. Like what you've just done is create demand. Like, yes, go to the front door first because it might happen, but create the demand first.
That's it.
Have the sales, have the proof.
Your product without demand isn't valuable. It's a one-way transaction and not financially. So if I wanted to go, let me go somewhere with a couple of things. If I wanted to go to Kmart and I want to stock my t-shirts in there, I want to put my t-shirts, first of all, you wouldn't because they'd drop the ass out of it, but if I wanted to put my Kmart t-shirts in Kmart, that's a selfish transaction. Of course, cool, I get to go in every Kmart and they have to buy tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of units from me to go into all their stores. Woohoo, that's a win for me. What do they get out of it? What you have no demand, you have no marketing, you have no previous sales, you have no brand recognition. Yeah. What does Kmart get out of it? Yeah. It always blows me away when people and look, I'm not high horsing here. I guess people just don't think about the person opposite them.
Yeah,
right?
There we go.
Like, what do I want to be in Kmart? I want to sell 100,000 t-shirts. Yeah, of course. What do you think Kmart wants to do? so you, if Kmart says to you, okay, Tim, I'll sell your t-shirts. How do we make $1 million out of your t-shirts? Yeah. You better be ready to answer that question. Because if you aren't, don't even knock on the door. Right. Secondly, big chains like Kmart, Big W, Coles, wherever, right? If Bunnings is another good one because
you've been there.
We do a few things. If you want to go into Bunnings and Kmart and all these massive corporations, the problem you're going to have, and this is why they're so high up the ladder, because they are not stupid. If you've got a little widget that you stock in Bunnings, what happens is Bunnings is of a size or a scale that they stock your product for a time. Now it either works or you take all your shit back plus the freight bill to get it all back.
Yeah.
Right?
So you're putting the upfront cost, not them.
Of course.
Yeah.
If you want to be in Bunnings, sometimes that can be a blessing or a curse.
Yeah.
I'll tell you why it's a curse. If you have a widget and you want to go into Bunnings, you're going to need, let's say, 10,000 units. First off, that's capital up front. You need to have manufactured to get your shit ready to go. You need to have a marketing budget to create demand to come back through the door so you can get people to actually come into Bunnings and buy your product. You have to have one hell of a website, pamphlet, all the point of sale stuff. Needs to all make sense.
Think about everything, yeah.
You need shelf presence. So somebody needs to walk up the shelf and go, whoa, what's this? Because if you don't, you get lost in the sea of other products.
In the sea of widgets.
And then, if it works, here's the problem. It works, you start selling hundreds of thousands of units. Bunnings sees this. Bunnings is richer than you. They find your supplier. They ask if they want to do a deal with them instead of you. They cut you out. And they've used you to R&D the market on your small budget, doing all your stuff.
Wow.
Or your supplier stays loyal to you. You've got a contract, and that means something.
Yeah.
Bunnings goes, that's okay. We'll reverse engineer it and make it yellow instead of green.
Oh, no.
You lose. So when people think they're going into Bunnings or Coles or whatever, what people need to understand, and I'm serious about this, man, because I've seen it time and time again. These big companies use you as R&D, research and development, to test the market. When it works, they swap you out for their own brand.
Yeah.
So just go direct, man. Do the hard work. Yeah. Stop trying to win the lotto and get into Bunnings.
Yeah. Nothing against Bunnings. They do great.
No.
They do great.
I love Bunnings. It's one of my top 5 stores.
They do great sausages.
All I'm saying is just that they do a good sausage. It's just one of those names that just comes up. You know, when you've got hardware products, everyone wants Bunnings. When you've got clothing or apparel, everyone wants Kmart. When you've got food or drink, everybody wants Coles. Yeah. They just don't understand what they're getting into. Yeah,
listeners, if you hear this and need a spade, go to Bunnings.
Yep.
Just so we don't get in trouble.
Yep.
No, but I want to something that in terms of not giving up in terms of a sale is I want to talk on follow up and how important follow up is.
Yeah.
Again, it's the tenacity to do it, but there's facts and figures out there that 80% of sales are made on the 8th or 10th or something.
Sure.
And would you attest to that? I mean, of course, you want a one and gun. That's what everyone wants in a sale.
Yeah, no doubt. And if you're good enough, that's awesome. I think. Look, my comments on that I think are relevant to the person. You've got to have a pretty good gauge straight off. And as the reason as to why they don't want your product. A lot of the time it's because you haven't done a very good job of making them trust you, for starters. And if they don't trust you, what you've got to say is going to either have a lot of pull or not.
And that could come down to micro things, right? Of if you're on time or not, and the way you're dressed, and the way you're energetic, and
absolutely your professionalism, your voice, your tone, your eye contact, your posture. I mean, we could go back into all that shit, but I
that's
think
right. That's what training's for. What's happening?
What did that say? What? Why?
Memory?
Just breaks sometimes.
Yeah, that's alright. Is it rolling still?
It is now.
Cool. What are we talking?
Yeah, look, we could go into micro-analysing sales approaches and things like that. I think that, you know, if people don't trust you and have belief in your product, that's possibly why they said no in the first place. Secondly, it could be that they just don't see enough value in your product. Thirdly, financially, they probably might not be in a position. So there's a couple of reasons why they said no in the first place. To then ring on a second, third, fourth, fifth time, it may or may not have any point, you know, depending on what you've ascertained as to the reason is they've said no in the first place. Yeah. So I think that's the key, to not waste your time, not waste their time. So if you are sure when you walk out the first time as to why they didn't buy, you'll know whether it's smart to call second, third, fourth, fifth time. If they say, mate, my marriage just broke up, my missus has taken the house and kids, I'm flat broke, maybe don't follow up. Yeah.
Or do that in 12 months' time. Be like,
so
hey, man, did you get back on your feet? That's what separates. That's what separates shit.
Exactly.
You know, bad salesmen from good salesmen. Is you'll have a diary.
Yeah. And everybody wants to be Jordan Belfort, the Wolf of Wall Street, and just smash people into submission.
I'm not into that.
It doesn't work. It doesn't work because it really dehumanizes the whole thing, man. Because you're just trying to get a sale. They can smell it. You know it. You try to hide it, but they know it. You know, talk to the person.
People
solve their problem.
People will feel you before they hear it coming out.
Yeah. Well, talk to the person. You know, ultimately, sales or your product or service, it has to fix the problem. Or else, what are you doing? I think, you know, there's too much transactional thinking going on today where people just try to, you know, I want to be a millionaire. Again, I go back to that one-way thing. It's like, okay, that's what you want. How does that help your client, though? You know, like what are you offering them?
Yeah, what I was taught was it's an acronym, WIIFM, which stands for What's in it for me. So you need to understand it from both sides. So you need to go into sales situations understanding primarily what's in it for the customer. Yeah. But also in the back of your mind, what's in it for you? Because some people can, you know, even if you're booking appointments on the phone, right? People think that I need to sell it, but no, what's in it for you is the appointment. Same with the sales context is when it gets to asking for the business, ask for the business. Sure. So that's a whole different scenario.
It is. You know, the way I operate, man, is that if I bring enough value and whether that's, you know, what my product does, what my service does, and all that, if I get that right and I solve their problem. For example, I'll give you a direct example. We go into mines, we go into horse riding arenas. There's a whole bunch of areas we go into, and one of their problems is they've got dust everywhere. Okay, and what my job is to ascertain how much or what is the cost of this dust issue. Whether that's fines from the EPA or fines from the council, or you know, customers won't come there because their cars get dirty. Whatever that is, I need to figure out what is this problem costing you. Now, if they tell me, I'll give you a rough example. If they tell me this is costing me $50,000 a month, then I need to fix that problem for them.
For less than that.
Well, ideally, you know. And so what I try to do is find all the problems that add to this 50, 55, 60, now it's 80. And then if my solution comes in at $40,000 per month, and I can guarantee that I've fixed it and taken all these other headaches off, they'll do the transaction by default. Yeah. But if I go in going, you know, oh, my product dustless is the best, and it, you know, it's the best in the world.
Do your song and dance and
like whatever, you know. That how is that helping them? Okay, Jordan, you've got the world's best dust suppression. So what?
So what?
Right?
Yeah.
So the idea is to fix the problem, service the need. The transaction comes by default.
Yeah.
Everybody goes in thinking, I got to sell or I'm going to get fired.
Yeah.
I got to sell or I'm going to get broke. Forget all that. Fix the problem.
Fix the problem.
Service the need.
Yeah.
Supply the demand. And if you don't have a product that does that, you've got a
Why
poor
are you
business.
talking? Yeah.
And you didn't do your due diligence properly.
Yep.
So it always comes back to the start. Due diligence is probably the biggest thing before you get into any business. You got to, just to keep it basic, you can go into due diligence however you like, but you've got to make sure there's a market. You've got to find out how saturated it is or it isn't. What's your product differentiation? There's a bunch of things that you need to do before you start a business, because what happens is, as I've just explained, it bleeds into the next thing.
Yeah.
Now, when you turn up and you go, and they say things to you, oh, okay, Tim, you're the 9th guy to come through my door this week. That's not a good thing, because it means you didn't do your due diligence on companies doing the same shit in the same area in the same industry.
Yeah.
And you're the 9th guy, and your product differentiation is colour. You got no shot.
Nah.
So you should have figured. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
when it comes back to due diligence, you should have done that first.
Yeah. Yeah. And a lot of people don't. They get excited about their idea and they like,
Of course.
This is amazing. This product is great. And
Yeah.
then they do a song and dance about it.
Yeah.
And
Because there's a big difference between an inventor, an innovator, an entrepreneur, and a businessman.
Let's talk about
entrepreneur
that.
and businessman, same thing.
Yeah.
But and a businessman who knows money making, due diligence, routes to market, marketing. It all comes in. And if you can learn both skills, you'll have a really well balanced view on a business. If you're too heavy in one area, if you're too much of a businessman, innovation sounds too scary to you, too pricey. You're not going to get bang for buck because it might take you a year of R&D, and that means you're not going to make money. But if you're too much of an innovator, you're blinded by the facts of the reality of the situation. So if you're an innovator, if you're an inventor, talk to a businessman and get the real shit. If you're a businessman, talk to an innovator and let them tell you how hard this shit is, but also what they're doing new in the market and why.
Yeah.
And if you get that crossover, that's when you actually have a really good business plan.
Yep.
Because if you've got innovation, meaning something new, you've got the market isolated, or you've got a big market share. And if you're a businessman, you know what to do with that market share.
Yeah.
Link up with people who are your weaknesses.
Network. Get out there. Yeah. Don't get down on your weaknesses and try and fix them, because a lot of people do that. Find someone that your weakness is they're positive.
Yeah, you can waste a lot of time trying to bridge all your weaknesses. Hey man, we've all got a lot of weaknesses, If you spend all your time trying to fix everything, you still can't do everything, right? So name one successful guy that you know is a one-man band that doesn't have a team.
Even I'm going creative and into even like solo musicians, but they have roadies and people that help them.
Yeah, of course, producers,
so
sound guys, and you know, you can't. You need people, man. People are the game.
Yeah.
What you need to do is partner up with people who have the same goals but have different methods or skill sets, and then you get, like I have this thing, I call it the tripod theory, and if you can get all the legs of the tripod, whether you're the creator or the products guy, and then you've got the businessman, and then you've got the finance guy. If you can get those three guys in the same room, you can get most jobs done, and then you just outsource anything you can't do.
Yeah.
So if you partner with those guys, man, and the reason that there has to be very general, the reason there has to be at least sort of three guys is because they're all three different personality types. That's why. So, for example, I'm heavy sales, heavy people. So processes and documentation goes straight over my head. Not interested,
stuff.
don't
Not
give a
interested.
shit, not very good at it.
Yep.
And then you see people who are the other way.
They love it.
Yeah, operations managers, they love documentation, they like everything bang.
I respect those people so much.
But speaking at a boardroom table or doing a speech in front of 1,000 people scares the shit out of those people.
Yeah.
Usually. But they're
You
not
can
generally
find-
the
yeah.
same person. You know what I mean?
You can find hybrids.
Yep, you can.
You can find hybrids, which.
Yep. And then you go into big picture versus small detail people. I mean, if you can
there's
try and get
different
these
types.
balances with a little team, 3 people, this is what makes you stronger. And so if you try, and so my point is that if you are trying to, fix your weaknesses by being the other two guys, I need to to spruce up in taxes, and I need to learn finance, and I need to, learn documentation. Why? You're not going to do everything on your own anyway. Exactly. That's foolish.
So then you talk about building a team. How about when you're building a team and you've got two people that are very similar in skill set? So like you and me, we both are similar in terms of sales and marketing, and we do that. But do you think we would work well together, or would there be a clash because it's so similar?
There wouldn't be a clash. It just wouldn't be smart.
Right.
Because if one of us is very good,
I won't take that too hard. But
no, and it's just the truth. But the good thing is we wouldn't clash. It's not a matter of clashing. It's a matter
of
the
person.
It's a matter of we're too heavy. It's like having a car with 1,000 horsepower but can't go around a corner. You're better off having 500 horsepower and good suspension so you can handle.
There we go.
But there's no sense in having a car that can only go in a straight line for 1,000 horsepower when you've got a track in front of you. What's the point in that? You can never use it.
Yeah.
You need to be able to turn, you need to be able to brake, obviously. So you need braking, turning, and accelerating, in essence, what you're trying to do. So you need someone who's good at brakes, someone who's good at accelerating, someone's good, you know what I'm saying? You can handle. And that's why, our business, for example, we're very sales heavy.
Right.
And I've known that for some years. We need to get some process documentation people or driven people in the office, because you need to be able to go out, do the thing you're good at. Now, if you're like me, that is calling people up, going and seeing them, getting them excited, telling them about the product, and then you need to be able to throw that over your shoulder for somebody else to ring back and say, hey, how did you go? What's the reason, or are you interested? Or yes, I am. So then that person organizes the sale. I'm not very good at ringing up, I don't want to be doing it. Ringing up a freight company, making sure delivery's on time, making sure they've paid invoices. I'm trying to do that from the road while I'm driving to my next appointment. It's not very smart.
Not very smart.
Right? So the first thing I would do is link with a guy who or a woman who is very good at that. Because then I can do my thing, she does her thing. Perfect.
Spot on. Awesome. Now, I'll change direction, and I guess the last thing I want to talk about is something I admire in you is the ability to walk the talk. And you say something, and you do it.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter in business, but you've also got other ventures. There was a month ago, 6 months ago, you were like, I'm going to be an actor.
Yeah.
I'm going to be an actor.
Yeah.
So this is a guy who's ran 3 businesses, but now I want to be an actor. So now you're talking about it, and you do. Tell me a little bit about that mindset.
Oh, the mindset?
The mindset, and then what you then did as soon as you flicked.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of things out there where people have this predetermined notion that there's a done way to do things. Live life, be a sportsman, be a race car driver. They have this thing that there's a way you go about it. There isn't a way you go about it. You just go about it, and it either happens for you or it doesn't. And I think with that as a foundation for my thinking, I think that's what I thought. So when I decided I was going to be an actor, it's just a matter of finding out the steps to do it, or that I needed to do it. Maybe I go in, I'm not good enough, so I need to go take acting classes. Maybe I go in, I'm more than good enough, and I get gigs. It was one or the other, isn't it?
Yeah.
So I try
you just
out.
Did it.
Yeah. So I tried out. So auditions came up. I went in, and I let, in this case, so let's bring it back to business for the second. I let the market decide whether I was good enough. Turns out I was, because I've done 12 odd sets, films, TV commercials, whatever. I've done 12 of them now, coming from scratch with a guy who's had no training. Awesome. So the market has decided, not me. I decided I was going to put it out there.
Yeah.
The market decides whether I succeed or not.
And let's also, that's key, but let's also, this is something you hadn't had shown proof in. So
0.
So you told me you took no paid work?
No.
Yeah. Why is that?
Well, because who am I to ask for money?
Yeah.
Who am I? I might go all right in the business world. I might go okay in the sports world. Who the fuck am I to just walk up and say, you're going to have to pay me $2,000 to be an actor? Okay, Jordan, show me your past work. Oh, you have none? Show me your training. Oh, you have none of that either. Who the fuck am I?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like you can't just get, and this is what blows me away about people in business. and I mean this with respect to people, but how do people think they're due things they haven't earned? So in this instance, right, I haven't earned anything to be an actor. I just feel like I want to be one. Okay, that's in my little mind, but as I say, the directors judge whether I'm going to be an actor or not me.
Yeah.
All I can do is the best I can. But who do I think I am to ask for money?
Yeah.
Like, why? Why can I ask for... The answer is I can't ask for money because I'm a nobody in the acting scene, okay?
Yeah.
So for me, it was like I said to you about the person who needs to go and work in the thing that they want to end up in. That's essentially the way I took it. I thought, okay, if I do free projects, I'll get exposure to the industry. I'll get a show reel, which you need to be able to, as I say, prove that you can act. And I'll get I'll learn and I'll meet some people within the industry. And that's the approach I took. Now look, it costs you time, but when you want to be an actor or when you want to be anything, time is all you have. So that's what you can offer up. Your time, your appearance, your services. Yeah. And if you are good enough, you will get a call back. If you're not, that's okay because at least you know, right? And if you know where the start line is. Yeah. I've tried 10 auditions, I haven't got
still
any.
Don't give up. After 10, still don't give up. If it's what you want to do.
No, this is great.
Yeah.
If I did 10 auditions and I got no gigs, that would just mean I'm not good enough. So at least now I know, okay, maybe I was, jerking myself a little bit thinking I was ready, but now I need to go and get acting lessons or voice lessons or presentation lessons, whatever it is I'm trying to do. At least now after trying, I know the start line. Right? Turns out for me, I was as good as I hoped or thought I was because I went and did auditions and I got parts. Now that's not always going to happen. I'm not just this flippin' special guy. If I go try out for the swimming team, I will never make the swimming team.
You don't look like a swimmer
because I sink, and it doesn't matter how hard I try.
That beard doesn't keep you afloat.
Nah, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So finding the start line is a real key thing I find. Is if you just put your leg out and say, "Am I good enough?" Everybody else will tell you via their actions, via their transactions usually.
Do it.
Yeah. And so once I started getting on set, first things first, I've got a bunch of footage I can show people now. So I'm a proven actor now. Yeah. I got to know directors. One director in particular has cast me on 4 different things.
Wow.
He likes my look. He likes my attitude. Yep. He likes my attendance. I'm always there. I'm always on time. I'm reliable. Yep. And he likes using me. He likes me as a person. Yep. If I don't turn up to any of these, I never meet this guy.
Reliability showing up.
That's right. And so since then, I've done TV commercials and things like this, just smaller stuff.
Yeah. But then that leads... Now you're getting paid for it.
That's right.
And
then you write on your resume, paid actor in XYZ project. So
and then it can be an expectation.
Yeah.
Now.
But now you're proving it, you know what I mean? By walking it. I don't just say I'm an actor. I don't just say I'm a boss or a CEO or whatever. Yeah. It's true. Yeah. Don't say it unless it's true. Yeah. You'll get found out.
You've got so many Instagram pages of people calling themselves entrepreneurs.
That's right, Yeah. And so I think, that's the key in the whole thing, It's just try.
Awesome.
The market will tell you. Or the director, or the boss, or whatever. Yeah. But I think, we can get a little bit... Some of us think too highly of ourselves. Some of us think too lowly of ourselves. You get people as well who think so low of themselves, and everybody around them is just like, dude, you're amazing. Like, are you joking? Yeah. You usually get it with people with low self-esteem but are extremely good looking.
I won't go the extremely good looking. I'll let the market decide that. But I get that a little bit sometimes. I'll be honest. Sort of the imposter syndrome. Yeah.
And which direction? Over the top or underselling it?
Oh, it depends on mood. I mean. Yeah. Depends on mood. Typically underselling.
Underselling it.
But I can go both ways.
Yeah. I think. I think that people...
And that's just a youth thing.
Well, it's a self-awareness thing, and self-awareness is a tricky one because it comes with honesty. I think deep down, we all know what we're good at and what we're poor at. Yeah. Some people don't, and that becomes to be ends up being a problem for them. Thing. But I think we all know where we're strong and where we're poor. It's about acknowledging that and saying that out loud. And I think, as I said about the acting, at least you've got a start line.
Yeah.
You know, when you say, hey, I'm good at this and I'm shit at this, well, okay, now I know who I need to hire, don't I?
Yeah.
If I go around saying I'm good at everything, well, why aren't you winning? Why aren't you rich?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
It's because you're bluffing about what you're good at. Just admit it. You can start from there. That's self-awareness, and then you can move forward. You know, I think we all have self-awareness. We just don't vocalize it, or we just don't admit to it. Because people might think, oh, you know, oh, he's not as good as he says he is, or whatever. Well, don't say you're so good. Then you won't have anything to come back from. You know, if you go around telling everybody you're a millionaire and you own a Lamborghini and it's just rented, and you make like 40 grand a year.
Don't get me started.
Yeah. Well, then you've set the bar super high. So of course you're going to feel like a fool admitting that you're not all these things.
Yeah.
It just comes with people fronting, you know.
Yeah. So actually walk your talk. Don't fake it.
Well, just talk to your level of walk. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if you're only walking so fast, don't talk faster than that.
Yeah.
Because you know eventually you're going to see that. You know, people are going to see that you can't live up to what you say you can.
No, exactly.
Because if you know, so let's look at the reason people talk. Right? People talk so that people think they're more successful. Okay. What if I buy your talk? What if you talk to me, you tell me you're a millionaire, and I buy your talk, and I go, okay, Tim, that's great. Hey, I've got a good business over here, and I explain it down to you, down to a T, right? Because I'm a very good salesman, and I get through all your objections, and I get through all the things and all the hurdles, and it just comes down to money. And then I explain everything so that it's the best investment that you've ever heard of, but it comes down to money. And I keep pressing to the point where you have to say, I don't have the money.
Yeah.
Right, then why did you waste my time? Why did you talk so much? The only reason I'm talking to you is because I thought you had the money.
Yeah.
You know, eventually someone's going to get in and break that down and you're going to get found out.
Yeah.
And if people are dealing with you under the pretense that you're a millionaire, you've wasted not only your time, their time, you've lied, you've been caught out, and it doesn't feel very good.
No.
And usually the people that say they're rich or they're successful are the ones that don't feel very good inside. Because they think saying it out loud is going to make them feel better.
Yeah.
But you're only going to get caught out, and that's going to compile once you do.
Well, there's memes that go, not memes, but quote pages, put this thing up, and they put a picture of Mark Zuckerberg, Jack Ma, and Bill Gates next to each other, and then the quote always says, "The goal is to be rich, not look rich."
That's it. Yeah. And so what's funny is the people that post that up are the ones bullshitting.
Yeah, you think?
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like.
Yeah, because you read the comments on it, and then there's some people that go, "Why can't I do both?" Yeah.
But
I mean, that's if you want to, but.
Like I watch some of my mates, and the ones that post that up are the biggest bullshitters. It's like you're a dog, It's like, bro, you're the one wearing 2 gold watches and flying around the world. You can't get your phone out of your face because you're in business class.
Yeah.
It's
interesting dilemma.
Yeah, it is. You know, everybody's talking about being humble, yet they're not it themselves. So it's funny. It's really funny.
So my last question wants to be one. So you're 35 now. You've had all this experience.
32.
Pace
yourself, bro.
It's the beard. The wisdom. 32.
Yeah, the wisdom.
Yeah. So 32.
Yeah.
I don't know where I got 35. Anyway, someone that's 18, 20, 22, 23. In terms of practical experience, this person knows that they're ambitious, knows that they're doing all the right things. They're even staying at school because they know that's the thing.
Is that a thing?
Well,
you tell me. Is it a thing?
I don't know. That's a different topic. But what would you put yourself back into your shoes as Jordan? Tell yourself now at 32. Broad question, but I guess just one practical bit of advice that you would give.
Look, man, I think it's hard to go. It's hard to go back because you don't know the other option.
No, that's true.
I feel like I'm in a good place, given the way I was raised, the way I think about things, and I certainly feel like I'm.
So I'll reframe it then. Then it's not you, because I think that's then confused it. Just anyone, just any someone off the street sees that you're owning 3 businesses, they come into your office and they go, I'm about to graduate high school or university.
Yeah.
What should I do?
What should they do? They should decide what type of person they are.
Mm-hmm.
Not everybody's a businessman. I know it's trendy.
Yeah.
It's fucking trendy at the moment to be an entrepreneur. That doesn't mean you are one. Like me with the acting, who says I'm an actor? The market says I'm an actor. Who says you're a businessman or an entrepreneur to call it, 2018 talk or 2017 talk? Oh, I'm an entrepreneur. Are you? Are you really? Like, have you made much money? Like, let's. The thing is just who are you? And then why? Why do you want to be a businessman? Because it's on Instagram and you think it pulls chicks? Like what's the reason?
Yeah, what's your purpose?
Yeah,
what's your why?
No,
the Simon Sinek stuff.
But
yeah.
just why do you want to be it?
Yeah.
Like if I asked you, right? So I'll throw it across the table.
Here we go.
Why do you want to be a businessman or an entrepreneur?
In business or working, because I see the value of communication in terms of the marketing point and how that can affect people in a positive way. I'm a giver. So if I'm behind a product that's going to save someone $200,000 and improve their life, I want to be the person communicating that.
Right.
So that's my thing.
But you could be a sales director. You could be employed as a sales director.
Exactly.
What I'm saying to you is, if you wanted to be a business owner, why? Why take? Because I'll tell you one thing for free. It sucks.
Yeah.
It's shit. You're the last line of defense. The problems are yours. You inherit the financial burdens.
Yeah.
You got to pay people. You got to deal with the bitching. It's your problem.
Yeah.
What? I feel that people don't understand that that's the shit part of things. That's why they want to be it, because they think things are rosy. Because if you could show people how shitty and how hard and how lonely it is, you wouldn't want to be there, would you? So that's how I know that people don't understand business, because everybody wants to be one. Now, if you got struggles in your life, going and pouring entrepreneurship on top of that is not smart.
Be careful. But entrepreneurship helps you grow as well. So it could have the other effect of helping you.
It can, but when you don't have your personal life sorted, you certainly don't want to start fucking with your professional life.
I've been there. I've been there.
Yeah. But I guess that's my thing. So short of asking you, I'd ask anybody else. Why do you want to be an entrepreneur? What do you think it brings? What do you think it brings?
Yeah.
And if the answer is shit, I hadn't really thought about it. That's cool. But you
Go
might
and
be,
have a think.
Yeah, you might be way up the chain in another corporation because you're an awesome employee or manager.
Yeah. So have self-awareness.
Yeah, but to say have self-awareness is a hard thing because...
But then doing it.
Yeah, because it comes back to honor. Well, I believe self-awareness comes back to honesty, and how honest you can be with yourself. Are you good at these things, or are you just bullshitting for Instagram, And hey, man, there's been times where I've thought, I've been blowing it up a bit.
Everyone does it.
But I try to really mitigate that as much as I can, and don't talk about something I'm not prepared to do. I think the way I try to do things is that if somebody punches my card on the spot, if I say something, I'm always prepared at any moment to substantiate that.
Yeah.
If somebody says to me, tell me about that, or show me.
Yeah.
I'm ready.
One day.
Or I wouldn't have said it.
One day I'll do that too. Awesome. Well, thank you for that. Anybody listening, let's. I know that you've got a lot going on, so let's say how they can find you. So the most recent movie that you're working on, the business that you're most excited about in terms of finding it, and then personal if people want to follow more of your content. So let's go there and
thanks, man. Appreciate the plug. My business day to day is Green Track. So we do everything from dust suppression. We do hard stand areas. We basically turn the earth into light concrete. We do waterproofing, and we do pothole repair. So that's my business, Green Track Solutions. Yep. My page where I was doing a bit of this stuff is called Entrepreneurs. It was like a take nervous. On being nervous when you start a business. It happens to everybody. That's cool. I do similar stuff to this on there.
Yeah. Well, this will be up on there.
Probably. Yeah. I'll probably put a version of this up on there myself.
Yeah.
And my acting, I've just been cast as Ned Kelly for the old Melbourne jail. So yeah, you'll probably see me if you hang around that area or in the CBD. There's going to be big banners of me dressed up as Ned Kelly, shortly. So
there we go. There we go.
That'd be pretty cool. That'd be pretty crazy. So that's what I'm doing on the acting front.
Yeah. So if you want to go see Jordan get shot eventually. Which I think that's how that story ends.
It does.
Sorry to ruin it for you.
Actually, he gets hung in the old Melbourne jail.
Righto. But he gets shot at in fights.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah, cool. Awesome, man. Well, thank you for being guest number 1. And, awesome value.
Yeah, thanks, man.
There we go. Thanks for listening in to the Beantalking podcast with me, Tim Beanland. I hope you enjoyed Jordan's stories and everything he had to talk about. What I'd love for you guys to do now is go and leave a review. Tell me what you thought. Message me. I would love to hear what you have to say. And so we can keep producing good content. So yeah, this was Tim and we've been talking.